Good afternoon, students. Myself, Munshi Rashidul Islam, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, JIS College of Engineering, Kollani, Nadia. Now, today lecture number 2, and today is the second class of the semester. So today we are discussing about the fundamental concept and the application of engineering mechanics. So yesterday or last classes we have discussed about the different types of overview of engineering mechanics. Now today we have discussed about the different fundamental concept and its application of engineering mechanics. Now the next main point, that is actually the objectives, why we study this subject. So first, engineering mechanics, just recap of this last classes. The engineering mechanics, it is actually the subject which is actually mainly deals with some engineering applications, just like the application of physics, modern physics, and the basic concept of the different mode of the deformable bodies. That is actually the case of engineering mechanics. Now the next, that is actually provide a introduction, and that is the fundamental concept. Fundamental concept means this subject which is mainly depends upon some force, momentum, and friction behavior, and any static body or dynamic body. So for the conceptual part means when the overview of this subject that I already explained in the last classes, that we know what are the different fundamental units, different fundamental systems, what are the causes of to create the mechanics, and mechanical design section, how it is dependent on mechanics. Extra different parts can be discussed in the last classes. Now in this topic and in this lesson, we know how the fundamental concept, how the fundamental behavior are dependent on the engineering mechanics subject. So it is basically a subject which mainly deals with some conceptual part, general applications, or different types of principles, just like Newton law of motion, D'Alembert principle, and Lami's theorem, and Varignon's theorem, etc. So all these are the mainly dependent on general principles. And next, the analysis methods. Analysis method means some friction behavior or any type of frictional characteristics that mainly dependent on to surface checking the different types of numerical related problem. So that type of problem can be solved by the different types of application which are actually dependent on the mechanical properties of any type of surface. So that are the mainly dependent for the analysis method. And next, the future studies, that means there are a lot of scopes are there for the future study, future behavior, what are the different types of method, how to come the different types of surface roughnesses, surface finish, and surface characteristics that can be determined by the different technologies. That technologies may be coming just like the nano tribological technology, nano surface finish, and nano characterization that come in your future method. Now the next, that is actually next point, the next point is the outline of this subject. So first is this subject is basically depends some parameter. That parameter is just like general principle, static analysis that already mentioned, dynamic analysis part that are mainly dependent on Newton law of motions, force analysis, and the different types of force analysis and different types of D'Alembert principle, etc. All the principles are mainly characterized in the dynamic part, and future study that I already mentioned in the last slide. Now the mechanics part mainly in the rigid body mechanic, and in the rigid body mechanics, deformable body mechanics and fluid mechanics. Fluid mechanics, it is actually the different part of this subject, but the first 2 point, rigid body mechanics and deformable mechanics. So rigid body mechanics, that is actually a body which is actually is said to be a rigid if it does not undergo some deformation when the action of force or any type of force if I applied, but no deformation can be created, no deformation can be occur. So but in actual practice, nobody is a rigid body in true sense. But why I said this? It is basically if I know when the deformation is very small compared to the size of the body, then the body is said to be a rigid. It is actually the case of a rigid body. But when the deformable body of mechanics, can I explain? The maximum body can be a deformable body, because if I applied load one by one certain time will come when the body can deform some little bit of point. So that sense we can say that body is a deformable body. So suppose one case is there when a body which is actually capable to withstand forces, that is actually acting in some cases, but comes it to the original conditions when the forces are removed, but the body is known as a elastic body or resistant body. Now the next case is fluid mechanics. It is actually the different part, different method and different subjects, so that's why it is not discussed in the today's classes. Now rigid body mechanics. There are two mechanics which are actually applied in this subject. First is static mechanics, another is dynamic mechanics. So static mechanics, there is no separation will be there. Only static means when the body are in rest conditions, so no momentum will be there, no motion is there, only are in rest conditions. But in dynamic mechanics, there are two separations are there. One is kinetic mechanics, another is kinematic mechanics. So next point, static, that means the equilibrium analysis of particle and bodies. So equilibrium analysis means why it is called the equilibrium cases. So suppose in equilibrium cases, that means when all the forces, summation of all the forces, just like in x-axis, summation of all forces, suppose F is the total force acting on a body, so summation of all forces in x-axis, summation of x is equal to 0, summation of y, that means the y-axis, summation of y is equal to 0, and also the summation of moment in each axis, that also be 0. For that cases we can know that the body are in equilibrium conditions. So that's why in static mechanics, the equilibrium analysis of particle and bodies, that means the particle and bodies are in the equilibrium conditions. Now in the dynamic portion, That means the accelerated motion of particle and bodies. That means when the body are in motion, that means some momentum will also be there, and that's why we can know that body are also in dynamic mechanic or dynamic conditions. So there are two separations are there. One is kinematics, another is kinetic. Now, fundamental concept, that means basic quantities, length, mass, time, force, that I already mentioned in the last classes. So again repeat. Unit of measurement in SI unit is actually the standard units. That means meter, kilogram, second, and in the systematic way, the total dimensions of any system, that means SI system, it is actually a standard system, and standard system followed in international level. Now next, fundamental concept, and that is idealization. And fundamental concept means particle, rigid body, and concentrated force. So particle, that means the consider mass but neglect size. So each and every particle obviously have some mass, but size is neglected. That is actually cases of particles. But rigid body neglect mechanical properties, and rigid body that mentioned in the last before 2 slides. Now next, concentrated force. So suppose first we can discuss what is force and what are the different types of system of force. So first, force is an just one liner definition. Force is an external agent which is used to change the state of motion when the static body are in rest condition, and it is if I apply in static body, the body has to change some motion with dynamic conditions. But if any body are in the dynamic conditions, if force is applied, they are trying to stop or they are trying to slow down in the original speeds. That is actually the definition of force. So mainly there are unit, obviously the force unit is Newton, and the force system, that means the system of force system, mainly there are two types of forces system. One is coplanar forces, another is non-coplanar forces. In coplanar forces, we can divide into a lot of separate definition. Number one, collinear forces, concurrent forces, parallel forces, non-parallel, non-concurrent forces. So collinear forces means when all the forces acting on a body and they are in a same line. So, therefore that cases the system of forces is called collinear forces. Next, concurrent forces. If n number of forces acting on a body and they are passing through a single point, so that type of forces is called the concurrent forces. Parallel forces, obviously all the forces, the acting forces and the directions obviously are in parallel. And non-concurrent, non-parallel means all the forces when acting on a body, they are not passing through in a single point, but and obviously not in parallel. So that type of force is called non-parallel, non-concurrent, non-parallel forces. And coplanar forces, that means when all the forces acting on a body in a same plane. So that type of forces is called the coplanar forces. And support and reaction, mainly there are different types of support and reaction also be there. So support and reaction we can discuss in the next classes, when there will be a new topic. There will be a new topic, support and reaction. So on that time we can elaborately discuss about support and reaction. Now next, general principles. So just few minutes before we already discussed and general principles. So that general principles that you follow in the screen, that is actually Newton's law of motion. That means the first law, second law, third law, and law of gravitational, etc. Next, D'Alembert principle, and D'Alembert principle that also you know in the class 12 level or any other physics part, when the total force plus the negative portion of the mass acceleration, that also equal to be 0. Next, impulse and momentum, work energy, and principle of virtual work, that also be included in the general principles. Now the next point, static analysis, and in static analysis part we discuss force, equilibrium, force system resultant, that means the resultant force. So force we know means all again repeated time we can discuss this point. And equilibrium means when the summation of all forces in any directions is equal to 0, and the summation of in any direction, summation of all moments is equal to 0. So for that cases we can say that the system is under equilibrium. Now system of resultant means if a body, suppose one body are in there, so if a body in equilibrium state, when the number of forces are acting, and if this system is converted into a system where only one force is acting on the body, and the body is in the same equilibrium conditions, so for that cases we can treat a single force. So that single force is known as the resultant force. That means suppose one system are under conditions when the more than two forces acting on a point, and they are in some cases, and the resultant forces passing through the tangent, passing through the diagonal of these two forces, that diagonal direction force is treated as a single forces. That forces is known as the equilibrium, that forces is known as the resultant forces. And the resultant forces value r is equal to summation of root over of f1 square plus f2 square plus 2f1 f2 cos theta. Now next point is internal forces. Internal forces means we can again noted that the maximum forces not only used in the external cases, we also use the internal forces, and external and internal both the cases the maximum value depends upon some the parameter. That parameter mainly used on the body where it is can be applicable. Next, friction. Friction, another specific point also be there in your syllabus. Friction point means one module obviously in your syllabus. So later next classes or any next classes we can discuss the friction chapter. Next, centroid and moment of inertia, there also be a one module also be there, and virtual work and stability also another point in your syllabus. Dynamic analysis, obviously kinematics of particle, work energy, impulse momentum, planar, kinetic, vibration, these are also included in your syllabus, and all these points discussed one by one in the upcoming classes that are actually the syllabus covered in your whole syllabus. These are actually work energy. It is actually a basic part. So that's why we also discuss in the next classes. Next means stepwise classes where it will come. So these are the mainly parts that covered in the today's classes. And now the next classes we can discuss with a new topic and also a new lesson. Thank you.